this representation we call as an impact matrix, wherein Harrison believes that each trait can either have a positive impact or a negative impact on the job when needed by the individual. So, for example, the trait of a takes initiative can either have a no impact on the job, positive impact on the job, or negative impact on the job based on my preference. Here, my score is 8.7. So, my score of 8.7 is having a slight positive impact on the job. So, when I'm needed to do what is necessary by the job, I do it on my own because I already have a natural preference to do that. That would have a positive impact on the job. So one thing to understand and notice here is it again falls back to Harrison's theory and the scoring scale, wherein the score starts at the no impact or the neutral zone based on my preference to do it or to avoid it. It either moves to the higher side of the positive impact or to the left hand side with a negative impact. So this is one of the key principles of Harrison's JSA report that I want you to understand. I'm repeating this again, the keywords. Each trait can have either a no impact or a positive impact or a negative impact on the job depending on my preference. So here my preference is 8.7 and it is having a positive impact. Assuming if my score is only a 3 or a 2 on takes initiative, this green dotted thing which is there might have moved to the left side showing a negative impact, something like okay, this analyzes pitfalls. The job may be expanding at 7.5. My preference is only a 3.8 because of my lack of preference of analyzing pitfalls. When I am required to analyze pitfalls, that is going to have a substantial negative impact on the job. And these essential traits are the one which, as per the job description, these traits are required at least 75% of the time that they are using it. Meaning, these are the traits that they are using almost every day on the job. These are must to have for the job. So if it is
Right.
a high score, it is the score where the graph is moving to the right side, showing a positive impact. If the scores are low, the graph will move to the left side, whether it's a yellow or a red, depending on the score and the order of importance of the trait, which indicates a negative impact on the job when that trait is required to be used. So as you're aware, you're in the HR industry, no single factor is a knockout factor. It's always a combination of traits which do the impact. So if I have a lot of traits which are having a low preference, and that's going to really impact me here. Out of the 10, 12 traits, the individual has less than 7.5 on 3 or a 4 traits, which are going to give a negative impact when I'm required to use that. So that's the whole premise of how the essential traits work. Any questions on this?
Yeah, Shubhaka, just want a quick, thank you for the thorough explanation. Just want a quick question. So, of course, we understand that we would like to offer the clients the debriefing, right? The debriefing service, which of course is a package. But of course, for some clients, if they just want to simply, of course, to read it themselves, and can I just say in this essential trait, if let's say 10, there are 10 traits, yeah, 10 traits, yeah. If let's say more than half of them are, let's say, yellow or red, yeah. As a layman, like don't know much about Harrison, HR recruiter, is to give me a red flag, right? This person might not be a good fit. But let's say if in the desire, if the essential, let's say 7 out of 10 are green or yellow green, but the desire have a few reds, I might still consider because the most essential one is the important ones at the top. Can I have this kind of course it's not into absolute, but this kind of assumption for a general feeling about this candidate.
Yeah, that works, and that's the easy way to put it across to the recruiter.
Yeah.
And one easy way is this overall graph. If it is giving from a recruitment perspective, if it is giving 57, that's a red flag there itself saying that, okay, be cautious with this guy. Now, I may want to have a discussion if it is more than 70, 75, if the incumbents are less, if I only have, say, 1:1, or if I'm administering the assessment after the interview is done, after just before the offer letter is rolled out, there are some of the clients who conduct the interviews at this for a senior positions or a mid-senior positions. And then before the offer is rolled out, they send out the assessment and then they see this number, they may get shocked about it. But in those areas, it gives an insight to the recruiter to flag that these are some of the development areas needed for this individual. So yes, a lot of yellows in the essentials are a red flag.
Right, right. So just one quick follow-up questions on this, Shabaka, because I think for some clients, I try to, of course, as I mentioned, pitch it as a bundle with the debriefing, right? And some common feedback I got from telling to my contacts, right, is that wow, this is very comprehensive already, right? So easily, if I know nothing about Harrison, by reading this, I might get some quite a good insight already. So how should I position, right? Of course, debriefing is a benefit, right? Can you share with me your experience if the recruiter say Benson is very good for me already, why should I consider using your debriefing service? Any points I can reinforce in this case?
See, if it is a recruiter, if it's a recruiter, you're dealing with a recruitment company, probably you can train the recruiter on the report.
Right.
And there, I mean, if it is only a job success analysis report that they are using, you can train them on this particular methodology or this report, and that may solve the purpose. Because I'm not sure what's your plan of action. Are you doing a debrief with the end
So
user or is it debrief
maybe I
with?
can answer that. So Benson, the recommended idea is to get the briefing. Obviously, they have a budget constraint. We don't push it, right? So we just go with the practical constraint then. So that's a simple approach. So it's like everything, the ideal approach and the practical approach. So try to sell the briefing if possible. Interpretation is always good from a accredited coach. If no budget, well, it is what it is.
And from a practical scenario, we have seen this, Benson, in India. Now, there are some clients who say, no, we are not doing the end user debrief from a recruitment perspective. So, let me address the recruitment perspective first. So, they say that we are not doing an end user debrief. We just want an understanding on how to use this to either take the candidate, roll out the offer, or to hold on. So what we do is we do a training session for the recruiters of the company. And using that, it gives an insight if it is from a development perspective, where the end users are already employees in the organization and they are using a job success analysis. That's where we strongly recommend either they do a debrief internally by their own coaches who are accredited in Harrison, or outsource it to us where we can manage the entire debriefs. So from a recruitment perspective, it is slightly easier because I'm sure most of the cases, 9 out of 10 cases, they're not doing a end user debrief. The recruiter only wants an understanding of the report, which you can give it to them. You can conduct a session, do it. But this training, what you do to them is not accreditation, because most of the time people go out and flag and say that they have done Harrison accreditation. Then Grace will hold my neck and say, what have you done?
Okay, got it. Yeah. Thank you for I think trainer that approach also is one of the options that we can adopt. Yeah, but thank you. Yeah, understood.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then moving on to the next set of traits, these are the desirable traits. And even if you see structurally, you don't see a positive impact matrix here. So in the essential traits, you have a negative impact and positive impact. In the desirable traits, you don't see a positive impact matrix showing. This again goes back to the philosophy of Harrison, wherein we say these desirable traits are good to have traits. Having a high score is not a bonus, but not having the required threshold is pulling the performance down. So I'm having a score of 8.6, 5, 4.7. It's not pulling my performance down. But here, for example, a writing language, the expectation may be a 6 or a 5 or a 4, depending on the formula, but I only have a 2. Because of this lack of preference to writing language, when I'm required to use that, that's going to have a substantial negative impact on the job. So desirable traits, the simple formula, simple funda, having a high preference to desirable traits. So like here, pressure tolerance 9.7,